Hi everyone, a few small beers here, the internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you're doing well. It has recently been announced that apparently none other than Mr. Puerto Rico himself, Bad Bunny, is going to be performing at the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show, which honestly is pretty cool. And I think a sensible pick. I mean, after all, Bad Bunny is one of the most popular and listened to artists in America right now. His last full-length LP, commercially and artistically, did very well. And I mean, I don't know, the Super Bowl halftime show is, if nothing, supposed to be a moment of entertainment for the country that presents a show, some musical entertainment that one of the largest TV viewing audiences that we see every year can partake in and enjoy and just see something, likable in. I mean, that's why Super Bowl halftime shows are usually fronted by artists that are quite popular, quite mainstream, quite accessible. Bad Bunny meets all of that criteria, so him performing at the Super Bowl, why the fuck not? However, we can't all just sit down and appreciate this potentially landmark moment where you have a Puerto Rican artist and an artist who performs and writes music predominantly in Spanish coming on here and doing his thing during the Super Bowl, because everything is a culture war. The announcement that Bad Bunny will be performing at the Super Bowl has caused all of the right-wing morons across the internet to melt the fuck down like complete and utter losers. It's got people coming out of the woodwork to post pictures where he's like dressed in a dress or like, cross-dressing for a music video that he put out years ago. How can this guy be performing at the Super Bowl? Oh my God. Which, like, when you actually think about it, I'm sorry, what? Like, you guys know that Prince performed at the Super Bowl in 2007, right? Can you shut the fuck up? But even if Bad Bunny didn't at one point in his life wear an outfit that the End Wokeness account on Twitter doesn't like, obviously the biggest issue that the right wing and MAGA has right now with Bad Bunny performing is that he's not a white guy, and he's a guy who performs music in Spanish and speaks Spanish. And of course, that's something that is a big deal to you if you're a xenophobic, racist fucking idiot. Now, Bad Bunny has, very smartly and, in my opinion, expertly handled some of the blowback from this by either not responding at all and just letting a lot of these idiots make fools of themselves, or recently appearing on SNL where he did like a little monologue addressing the controversy, which I don't really think we can play much of it because we'll get dinged for copyright. But anyway, he essentially came on, did his monologue in English and some Spanish, talked about how big of a cultural moment and touchstone this performance was, how it was significant for kind of, highlighting the contributions politically and artistically that the Latino community has provided in America. And funnily, if you didn't understand anything he said, you have 4 months to learn, Spanish before he hits the Super Bowl in February. And a ballsy brave move, in my opinion, given the current political state of things. Not only because Bad Bunny is going to be receiving the brunt of a whole lot of different attacks from these racist fucking morons who, again, just don't like him because they don't see him as American. They don't envision him as American. He doesn't fit into their white English ethno-state vision. So as a result of that, he must be banned. He must be prevented from performing. And it looks like before we've gotten to this point where the Super Bowl is happening, the Trump administration, right-wingers at large, are doing everything they can to either complain and bitch and moan and whine.
They're just trying to shove woke ideology down America's throat in the platform of the Super Bowl. They want us woke, and that's really what it is, courtesy of Jay-Z and Obama.
Yeah, I mean, who are we going to have next year? P. Diddy?
And now on top of this, you have Trump advisor and human cancer cell Corey Lewandowski threatening that there will be ICE present at the Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime performance.
ICE have enforcement at the Super Bowl for the Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime show?
Benny, there is nowhere
that you can provide safe haven to people who are in this country illegally, not the Super Bowl and nowhere else. We will find you, we will apprehend you, we will put you in a detention facility, and we will deport you. Look, the NFL has been so woke for so many years.
In echoing Corey's remarks, you have like right-wingers across the internet saying Bad Bunny should be deported and he shouldn't be here and da-da-da-da-da. Puerto Rico is an American territory. Bad Bunny does have a right to be here, especially considering like he is not doing anything illegal or wrong. But with this, Corey and the Trump administration is highlighting exactly why Bad Bunny has spoken recently about being hesitant to perform in America. He has cast off questions about this prior, just kind of saying like it's not necessary, but since then has further specified that one of his greatest fears is that he'll do a show in the US and ICE will show up and start like arresting and rounding up his fans and so on and so forth. And, you know, clearly as somebody who gives a shit about his fan base and is noticing the current state of our politics, he clearly doesn't want that to happen. So Bad Bunny eventually doing this Super Bowl performance, there is going to be a bit of a tightrope walk to perform here, because obviously I'm sure he doesn't want his presence at this performance, at this event, to draw crowds of people that could potentially be deported and detained or abused by ICE, a government agency which should be abolished, by the way, and as of right now seems to be just filled to the brim with a bunch of anonymous right-wing frickin' idiots who have probably come over from various fringe groups just for the chance to put on a mask and essentially harass brown people. So again, it's tough. I'm sure Bad Bunny doesn't want to create a situation where he is attracting people to the Super Bowl who could be hurt or harmed or detained for whatever reason. And look, if you yourself are of, you know, a Latino background and you're considering going, I would be hesitant, honestly, because I mean, if ICE has shown anything, it's that they don't give a fuck if you're legal. They don't give a fuck if you got papers, so on and so forth. Like that shit has not stopped them from deporting many an American. Like they are very much acting outside of the legal boundaries of our laws right now, and they don't care. And they are not being held to account. So again, I'm sure Bad Bunny doesn't want to create a situation, but simultaneously, I sort of see the intent and I see the desire that he has to still do this performance and at least signify on some level that the presence and the influence of Latino culture and the Latino community, despite all of these threats, despite all of this racism and xenophobia and authoritarianism, is not going anywhere. It cannot be stamped out. So again, everything has unfortunately become a culture war to the point where even something as silly and as general and as widely broadcast as a Super Bowl performance is becoming a vector for these greater conversations that we're having right now when it comes to being able to live in harmony with those who may not be exactly like us, which is something that personally I think is doable and very much preferable to the violence and hate and bigotry one would need to embrace in order to enforce the existence of a white ethno-state or a theocracy of some sort. It's total psychos who want to shove that down everyone's throats versus everybody else who just wants to like chill and exist and doesn't really care if there are people around them who have different cultural backgrounds or languages or sexual orientations, outlooks on life, so on and so forth. So I wish Bad Bunny all the luck in the world with doing this performance. I hope it goes off without a hitch. I will talk about it more, obviously, if it becomes a bigger issue. And I would just like to remind everybody who is watching this video, as intense and as dark and as scary as a lot of this stuff is right now, there are more of us than there are of them. I mean, across all music streaming platforms, Bad Bunny has more monthly listeners than Donald Trump has voters. So again, as big and as scary and as freaky as all of this sounds right now, they will always continue to be the minority, even if they are at the reins of power, which they will not always be as long as there are people with good common sense in their heads to stand in their way. And I'm going to leave it there. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Bad Bunny, forever.